Let's make this delicious praliné and caramel tart together. As you can see, it's really indulgent in a bite and I love it. First, let's start with really soft butter, all the powder and the first part of flour in order to minimize the gluten and to have a really nice texture. Here you add all the liquid, mixing with the paddle attachment and the scraper from the bowl helps me to be really better. Second part of flour, so that I minimize my gluten, I will have less strength and really round dough and really round tart, of course. Really important, if you have a soft butter, it will be quicker and nicer. You see the texture of the dough, this is because of the soft butter, 27.5 degrees Celsius. And now I can use it with a depositor. If you don't have a depositor, you can just cut round, but this makes my life so much easier, so much quicker, as I can deposit. You see, one tray takes less than 25 seconds. So it's a small amount of dough. We have about 20 grams per pieces. Here I use the tart press. My rings are 45 millimeter, so it's really quick. I accelerate to show you the process really quick. You can do up to 700 or 800 per hour. Here, perfect lining of the dough. The dough was cold, of course. Then, before baking, I will freeze it to have the really perfect output we are looking for. You see, by hand I wouldn't do better, but I would do to take me much longer time. Here I have 4 trays. I am not doing a lot. I'm doing about 250 tarts here, but all the same, all perfect. And now baking time. Here I use a rack oven, so convection oven, 155, 160 degrees Celsius for about 18 minutes. It's really tricky to bake a chocolate one because we don't have the color point. So if you can, just bake a plain one next to it so that you will have your color point and you will know when it will be baked. So pay attention because it's pretty hot. But just to show you that it almonds perfectly and the result is great. Thin tart layer and a good result output. Thin. Here the dough is 2.5 millimeter thickness and it didn't move from the ring, stay perfectly round. The machine does a fantastic job. Of course, by hand possible, but takes longer time. And now let's go to the caramel. So I infuse the vanilla. I make a dry caramel and I always alter the cooking of my dry caramel using butter, because of butter there is almost no water, only 14%, so no projections. So my caramel temperature will lower quicker, my butter will emulsify, and then I can add the cream infused with vanilla, and I add the vanilla pod inside, that caramel loves heat, of course, but vanilla loves heat, so that we will have the plain aroma of all the vanilla will be really nice inside this caramel, the note of caramel and the vanilla. Here I use Papua New Guinea. Once my caramel is cooked at 108 degrees Celsius, I will add the chocolate. It will help for stabilization. And then, as every time when you have chocolate and water, here the cream is water, you will blend it. You will blend everything. And then you will set aside to let it cool down. Here I leave the vanilla to let it cool down until the next day. And then I will remove the vanilla pod, but don't forget, as it is still hot, there will still be an infusion of the vanilla into the cream. Then to protect, I spray a bit of chocolate and cocoa butter inside each tart shell so that the shelf life will be much longer. But you can totally skip that step as what we put inside the caramel and the praline, no problem. Here I use a mold which is exactly the size of my dosing plate for the one shot. I use that mold for another product you may know from me, which is my petit bateau, which I will explain in another video. It doesn't move, and then, so you see the 250 tarts I told you before, and now I go to the one shot, which allows me to dose in one time the caramel and the praline or Géant du Jas. You can put Géant du Jas if you prefer than praline. And then I will have a bowl of caramel inside of the praliné. So what's important here, the praliné, which has no water, is only touching the dough, so there is no risk of having the moisture of the caramel to go inside the tart because there is isolation by the praliné. I will put all the recipe in the comment section. And here you can see I cool it down in the smart cool. So cooling is about 12 degrees Celsius for at least 20-30 minutes until it gets hard like how it is. Then now let's go to enrobing with the chocolate. Before enrobing, I test with a temperometer that I have the curve. For the one you know, I will explain in another video. I have a really good result of a good RSI, which allows me to tell me that I have the good amount of crystal to get a nice shine. Then going through the curtain of chocolate, then we blow to remove all the excess. It has to be pretty slow because it's a big product, a lot of vibration to remove the fit. And once I go on the paper, I will just add a little bit of temper, the milk chocolate for the pattern. And because I work without coloring, PCB Creation made me a really nice structural transfer sheet with my name so that I can sign with my logo my product without using any coloring. So the color of chocolate is fantastic, don't you think? So here I apply with a thin brush just to remove the air bubble. I will show you more in detail in the next shot. Here, so as you can see, that's real speed. We go really slowly because it's pretty a large product, 45 millimeter and really high. So to be sure it's well covered in chocolate and that all the chocolate has the time to not make fit. So just all the chocolate will slide well on the side. And the same, it's important to put tempered pre-crystallized milk chocolate. Otherwise, you will have some blooming. So just to apply a really thin layer. Important to be fast. Don't worry if you put outside like I do. This you can scrape and reuse this milk chocolate. In chocolate world, we never lose anything. So you apply gently. Don't press too much, otherwise you will create some edges on the top, halo, which we don't want. And with your brush, the idea is to remove all the air bubble so that the transfer apply really, really thinly. And after cooling down, it's important you put back in the smart cool. Cool down really cold, otherwise you will not be able to remove nicely the transfer. And you have to remove like a band-aid really quickly, wham, in one time. Then you see the shine, no trick, just it's really how it is. And let's enjoy it. Hope you enjoy it, and if you have any question, don't hesitate and share, comment, subscribe. Thank you.